And please don't forget to give tzedakah l'schus rachamim b'shendel b'seich shachar Yisrael. Okay. A lot of people are busy talking about the results of the elections that we just had in New York City. And the discussion is, what do we do now? And as it has already been said cleverly that we have the same thing this week's parsha, there was a lot of campaigning in Ishtadlus. Avram Avinu was campaigning for Anshe Sdoim. He tried one approach, another approach, 50, 40, 30, every single different type of campaign and promotions, and he campaigned with the people all the way on top that could have influence with Hashem. And after everything, Avram failed in all his campaigning and his voting. And what does it say in the Pasuk? Vayashav Avram l'mkaimei. Avram went back, and he continued doing what he has to do. I've done my job, now I continue. There was a hishtadlus. People talk about the difference between hishtadlus, emunah, and bitachon. Before the elections, it's hishtadlus. Hishtadlus is going out and voting. Emunah is when you vote that the result is going to be what the Eibishter wants, which is the best result. Bitachon is after the result, and we know the results of the elections. Now we have bitachon that Hashem will make everything to be in the best way for us. Now, I'm not a politician. I don't profess to be a politician. I have no idea what's good for us, what's no good for us. That's not my field. Today, in the world of information, the information superhighway, everybody considers themselves a rav, and everybody considers themselves a doctor, and certainly everybody considers themselves a politician. A politician just means to read the news and find out what's going on. So I have no idea what's the right thing, what's the wrong thing. That's not my field, at least. Leave that up to Askanim. But we do have a principle, a Torah principle, a principle of Leiv Melachim B'Yad Hashem. That when it comes to, it's a pasuk in Mishlei, the pasuk is slightly different, but that's the way it's quoted often. Leiv Melachim B'Yad Hashem, the hands of king, of ministers, of officers, everything's in the hands of the Eibishter. But certainly when it comes to rulers, there's even a discussion about Bechira, if they even have Bechira, if they even have free choice, because once they're in position of leadership, everything is in the hands of the Eibishter. Now, I've heard people making comments, and I think they're horrible comments, when people are saying, you don't have to worry, it's all in the hands of the Eibishter. Oh, would you say the same thing by Hitler, Yimach Shemai? Was it also true, Leiv Melachim B'Yad Hashem? When people are saying that, okay, we have our tools, our arsenal of tools, we have to daven, there's different types of things, there's spiritual things that we're supposed to do in such a situation. In fact, the Gemara says if the Eibishter wants to bring Gula for the Yidden, he gives them a leader, Gzeirus Kashas Kahaman, a leader as bad as Haman, like this Yidden will do tshuva, and they'll right away have the Gula. So when people start waxing spiritual, then I've heard the response, did it help in the times of Hitler, Yimach Shemai? And that's kfira. That's a wrong thing to say, because obviously whatever happened then happened because that's what the Eibishter wanted to happen. Whether we like it, whether we don't like it, it wasn't B'Tova and Niglas, it's all in the hands of the Eibishter. We have a principle that everything is in the hands of the Eibishter. If something happens to me, if I get hurt, if a person just bangs his finger down here, a small thing. That's because it was announced from above, this should happen to you. So why is it that when someone hurts me, when someone damages me, when someone injures me, he gets punished? He was fulfilling Hashem's shlichus. It is true, he was fulfilling Hashem's shlichus. That is true. And you shouldn't be upset about it. You shouldn't be upset because you know, after all, what's coming from the Eibishter. That's why we say, when a person gets angry about anything that happens to him, it's almost like Avodah Zarah because you're ascribing powers to something other than Hashem. If you're angry about a situation, if you're bothered about a situation, that means it's almost like idol worship that something else made something happen. Whatever happens to me is because Hashem wanted it to happen to me. The reason he's punished because of his choice. The person that was injured has a decree from heaven. But that's not his business. He doesn't have to be the shliach to fulfill Hashem's mission. Hashem has many ways that he can make things accomplish, and therefore he gets punished for that. It's a famous saying. I believe people say that the originator of this saying is the Yisrael Salanta, but it's been used in many circles, Chassidish circles, non-Chassidish circles. The Yisrael Salanta said, Medarf ton, nicht ufton. Medarf ton, nicht upton. Medarf ton, nicht nachton. I'll say the way it's in the other Yiddish, the way it's often quoted, Medarf tin, nicht oftin, tin, nicht uptin, tin, nicht nuchtin. What that means is our job is ton, to do. It's not our job, uftan, to accomplish. That's not part of our responsibility. Our job is to do. Ton, nish uptan, we got to do, not just get over and done with it. No, you got to do, you got to get involved in what you do. Ton, nish nachten, you got to do and not copy others. We have what we're supposed to do. It's not about what other people are doing, what I'm supposed to do. It's not about accomplishing, and it's not about get it over and done with. When we're talking about voting, our job is to vote. That's our hishtadlus, that's our achrayus. And we've done. And we had a great victory because we voted. That is a major, major thing. Uftan, that's not our job. I've heard it said that Moshe Rabbeinu in Parshas Va'ira, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu came complaining to Hashem that Yidden, after he came to speak to Parei, Ma'az Basil Daber Parei, hey, things got worse. I went campaigning. You told me to go campaigning, to go vote. You sent me to Parei, and things just turned worse. Lam Hariyasa. And Hashem told Moshe, that's how you speak, you're not going to go into Eretz Yisrael. Later we find out the story of Meir Meriva. Oh, no, he was supposed to go to Eretz Yisrael, but now he hit the rock. Now he's not going to Eretz Yisrael for that. So why is he not going to Eretz Yisrael? When was that? Which chet was it? The teretz is the same Nakuda. The Nakuda was Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to know that he was supposed to do. I did, and it got worse. That's Shnish Cheshbon. He came to the rock. You're supposed to talk to the rock. It's going to give out water. It's not going to give out water. That's not already your department. So now I'm going to hit it so she'll give out water. That's already nothing to do with you. They asked the Chafetz Chaim to give his agreement that they should learn secular studies in the Chadorim and Eretz Yisrael. They should give a haskama for that because they're telling him there's opposition to that. But the yeshivas will not be able to survive unless they have this limud chol. So the Chafetz Chaim said, it's my job to make the yeshivas survive? My job is to do what the Eibishter wants. No, that's not already not my shlichus. In Parshas Toldus, the pasuk tells us that Yaakov and Esav were both in the womb, and Yaakov was holding on. Yaakov was holding on to Esav's heel to try to be the first one out, to try to be the Bechor. When the Lelever Rebbe's children came to visit the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe in Tashim Mem Daled, and I'll tell you what the Rebbe said to them in a moment, they responded with this word from their father, the Lelever Rebbe, the Moshe Martcha Lelever, and he asked, why was Yaakov holding on to the hill? You're not going to get out first just because you're holding on to the hill. He says, because Yaakov knew, I don't want Esav to have rulership. I don't want Esav to be the leader. I don't want him to be the Bechor. I got to do my part. I don't want him to be the Esav to run the world. I'm holding on to his heel. I'm doing my voting. What happens? Why they said that in response to a comment that the Rebbe made to them, that we find halachim when it comes to B'dikas Chametz is a meaning that we put out 10 pieces before B'dikas searching for Chametz. What's the reason that we put out the 10 pieces? Chametz is a terrible issur. Chametz, you're not leaving, unlike any other issur, you're not even have it in your house. So we have a mitzvah to make sure it's not there. So some people search for chametz and they don't find anything. They made a brach al bir chametz. It's a shayl of a brach levatala. They made a brach for nothing. They're going to get rid of chametz. They didn't find any chametz. So therefore the minute came to put out these 10 pieces, so it shouldn't be a brach levatala. Zog the Ramah, Zog and Allah Paiskim, that really al pi halacha you don't have to put out these pieces. It's a minig. It's al pi Kabbalah, whatever the reason for the minig is. Because even if you're going to search, you're not going to find any chametz. It's not a brach levatala. The mitzvah was to search. You're saying the words, I'll beer chametz to destroy chametz. But no, that's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to search it. If you're going to find it, you can destroy it. Some people like to search to find something bad. Editors, censors, they always try to find a problem. And if they don't find out, they're not satisfied. No, your mitzvah is to edit the article. The article might be perfect. Your mitzvah is cooking, zuchen. It's not a brach l'atala. So on the Rebbe's comment that in life we often have to know our job is to do, and not what comes out of it. We don't have to find the chametz. They brought up this word from the Lelev Rebbe, V'yodeh Chezes B'Akev Esav, that our job is to hold on to the hill. If it's going to accomplish anything about Yaakov coming at first, there wasn't the Indian. Basya, Bas Parai, she saw Moshe in a casket in the river, so she went. She stretched out her hand. Vatishta Chesamasa, Zogn Chazal. She couldn't reach it. So Hashem made a nest, and her arm stretched all the way to the middle of the river to get the casket. And Vasat Zigetrach, what was she thinking? She has a short arm. How is she going to get there? Basi didn't think about, I need to put out my hand. You put out your hand, maybe she will do the rest. She wasn't thinking that. The same idea we find with Chanina ben Doisa. Chanina ben Doisa was going to Yerushalayim, Oile Regel, so everybody was bringing beautiful, nice offerings to the Beis HaMikdash. He was an Aniv Evin Migoizli, had nothing with him. He saw a rock. He said, I see a rock over here. He took the rock, he chiseled it, he polished it. Now I have a gift to bring. But he couldn't carry the rock. So he found 5 workers, and he asked If they could help him, he'll pay them a small amount. And they asked him for an exorbitant amount. He couldn't afford it. At that moment, 5 malachim came down, and they said, we'll carry the rock for you. But you put your finger under it. Put your etzbah ketana. What is a small finger going to help? You got to do your job. You have to do your etzbah ketana, your small finger. They say a story, there was a chassid that once, he didn't have any money. So he turned to the Eibishter and he said, Eibishter, ich hab nicht kein Geld. You know what? I think I'm going to buy a raffle ticket, and I'm going to win the raffle. And help me that I should win. And then he said, Eibishter, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Because a raffle is a big shayla on Pi'alacha. When you buy a raffle, it's called asmachta. Maybe it's not yours. Now, I have a better idea. Eibishter, help me. I'm going to walk down the street. I'm going to find something, a metzia. And that's a problem. If I find a metzia, that means someone else lost it. Someone else is going to cause a hezek to someone else. And he went through one idea, another day. And then he said, Rebbeinu Shalom, ich darf dir geben eitzes. I have to give you ideas. And Eibishter could, Baruch Hashem, do very well. He knows exactly what he has to do. I'll just wrap up with one thing. The Welt is in a state today, the Welt shackles sich. The world's shaking every moment. You have no idea. We can't even predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Everything, politics, especially what's going on in Eretz Yisrael, what's going on in America, what's going on in New York. Things move around all over. And often can get caught up on all of this. And we have dooms predictors. We know we're in the hands of the Eibishter. One thing, a practical, technical thing, the Rebbe spoke many times about the pasuk that says in Daniel, Yimolid ba, there will come a time when the Welt wird sich shackeln, Yimolet kol ha'am nimtza kasav b'sefer. Whoever is written down in the book will be saved. Whoever is written in the Sefer Torah. And from there, it was brought out, and there's many sources for this, that if a Yid has a letter in the Sefer Torah, there's one powerful thing. If the whole Klal Yisrael unites, and all have one Sefer Torah, and there's a few Sefer Torah that were written like that, Sefer Torah HaKlolium, Sefer Torah for the achdas of the whole entire Klal Yisrael. Every Yid gets one letter in the Sefer Torah. We have 300,000 in one Sefer Torah. Whoever's in that Sefer Torah is protected. So, Leibish to help, I'm going to look forward to have the Sefer Torah in the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi, the Sefer Torah of Mashiach, B'mheira v'yameinu mamash.